Today we are in the Kalahari Desert. It has great geography with various types of animal species, rather creatures of desert. The Kalahari Desert is a large semi-arid sandy savanna in southern Africa extending for 900,000 square kilometers, 350,000 square miles, covering much of Botswana, and parts of Namibia and South Africa. It is not to be confused with the Angolan, Namibian, and South African Namib coastal desert, whose name is of Khoekhoegowab origin and means vast place. Kalahari is derived from the Swana word Kilagala, meaning the great thirst, or Kilagalagadi, meaning a waterless place. The Kalahari has vast areas covered by red sand without any permanent surface water. Drainage of the desert is by dry valleys, seasonally inundated pans, and the large salt pans of the Makgadi Pan in Botswana and Etosha Pan in Namibia. The only permanent river, the Okavango, flows into a delta in the northwest, forming marshes that are rich in wildlife. Ancient dry riverbeds, called Omaramba, traverse the central northern reaches of the Kalahari and provide standing pools of water during the rainy season. A semi-desert, with huge tracts of excellent grazing after good rains, the Kalahari supports more animals and plants than a true desert, such as the Namib Desert to the west. There are small amounts of rainfall and the summer temperature is very high. The driest areas usually receive 110 to 200 millimeters, 4.3–7.9 in, of rain per year, and the wettest just a little over 500 millimeters, 20 in. The surrounding Kalahari Basin covers over 2,500,000 square kilometers, 970,000 square miles, extending farther into Botswana, Namibia and South Africa, and encroaching into parts of Angola, Zambia and Zimbabwe. Numerous pans exist within the Kalahari, including the group Blower Pan and Vernhoek, where evidence of a wetter climate exists in the form of former contouring for capturing of water. This and other pans, as well as river bottoms, were written about extensively at She Forums by an article by Walter Wagner regarding the extensive formerly wet areas of the Kalahari. The Kalahari is extensive and extends farther north where abandoned extensive roadways also exist. North and east, approximately where the dry forests, savannas and salt lakes prevail, the climate is subhumid rather than semi-arid. South and west, where the vegetation is predominantly xeric savanna or even a semi-desert, the climate is Kalaharian, semi-arid. The Kalaharian climate is subtropical, average annual temperature greater than or equal to 18 degrees Celsius, at peaks reaching 40 degrees Celsius and above, with mean monthly temperature of the coldest month strictly below 18 degrees Celsius, and is semi-arid with the dry season during the cold season, the coldest 6 months of the year. It is the southern tropical equivalent of the Sahelian climate with the wet season during summer. The altitude has been adduced as the explanation why the Kalaharian climate is not tropical. Its altitude ranges from 600 to 1,600 meters, and generally from 800 to 1,200 meters, resulting in a cooler climate than that of the Sahel or Sahara. For example, winter frost is common from June to August, something rarely seen in the warmer Sahelian regions. 3. For the same reason, summer temperatures certainly can be very hot, but not in comparison to regions of low altitude in the Sahel or Sahara, where some stations record average temperatures of the warmest month around 38 degrees Celsius, whereas the average temperature of the warmest month in any region in the Kalahari never exceeds 29 degrees Celsius, though daily temperatures occasionally reach up to close to 45 degrees Celsius, 113 degrees Fahrenheit, 44.8 degrees Celsius at Twee Rivier and Rest Camp in 2012. 4. Heavy thunderstorm near Stampraat. The dry season lasts 8 months or more, and the wet season typically from less than 1 month to 4 months, depending on location. The southwestern Kalahari is the driest area, in particular a small region located towards the west-southwest of Saraxrivis, southeast of Namibia. The average annual rainfall ranging from around 110 millimeters, close to aridity, to more than 500 millimeters in some areas of the north and east. During summertime in all regions rainfall may go with heavy thunderstorms. In the driest and sunniest parts of the Kalahari, over 4,000 hours of sunshine are recorded annually on average. In the Kalahari, there are two main mechanisms of atmospheric circulation, dominated by the Kalahari High Anticyclone. 5. The north and northwest of the Kalahari is subject to the alternation, Intertropical Convergence Zone, ITCZ continental trade winds. The ITCZ is the meeting area of the boreal trade winds with their austral counterparts, what meteorologists call meteorological equator, and the sailors' doldrum, or poto noir. The ITCZ generates rains in the wet season, whereas the continental trade winds cause the dry season. The rest of the Kalahari is subject to the maritime trade winds, that largely shed their moisture as they cross up and over the southern African Great Escarpment before arriving over the Kalahari. There are huge subterranean water reserves beneath parts of the Kalahari. The Dragon's Breath Cave, for example, is the largest documented non-subglacial underground lake on the planet. Such reserves may be in part the residues of ancient lakes. The Kalahari Desert was once a much wetter place. The ancient lake Makgadikgadi dominated the area, covering the Makgadikgadi Pan and surrounding areas, but it drained or dried out some 10,000 years ago. It may have once covered as much as 120,000 square kilometers, 46,000 square miles. 6. In ancient times, there was sufficient moisture for farming, with dikes and dams collecting the water. These are now filled with sediment, breached, or no longer in use, though they can be readily seen via Google Earth. 7. The Kalahari has had a complex climatic history over the past million or so years, in line with major global changes. Changes in the last 250,000 years have been reconstructed from various data sources, and provide evidence of both former extensive lakes and periods drier than now. During the latter, the area of the Kalahari has expanded to include parts of western Zimbabwe, Zambia and Angola. 8.